Greetings, greetings, greetings. What is happening, everyone? How are you? Hope you're having a great weekend. Hope it is pleasant. Getting ready for the holidays, are you? Again, happy Petty December. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was out today. I had an appointment I had to go to, went to the store, and I noticed a lot of the Caucasian people were out. They were out just having a good time, spending money and getting in line at Starbucks. Around, it was just the line was just around the corner, and also what's it's some place called Nutella, and I have no idea what the taste of it is. It looked like peanut butter with a chocolate flavor, maybe, or maybe an almond flavor. I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm pretty sure I would not stand outside around the corner to get in to buy some. Pretty sure of it. I would get it off the shelf or order it if I could. Yeah, those probably be my options. But as far as getting in line outside, that's a major event, and I have no interest in that. Not at all. Mm. But I did notice, a lot of people were out, and one place was selling Christmas trees, and it looked so funny because there's no snow around, and for Chicago, we always have some snow in November, at least by November. But the last, I don't know, 3 to 4 years has been very interesting. And I think the chance of us actually having snow on the ground, not just having some snow and it sit there for a hot minute and gone the next, the chances of us having snow for Christmas, they're forecasting it as a no go. Yeah, a no go. And that's okay. I mean, maybe when you were younger, you wanted to be out in the snow and all that. And, it's a little bit different. But once you get a little older and have to pay bills and all these responsibilities, it's a little bit different. Yeah, a big difference. And then with the pandemic, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. When will it get better? When will things, well, I'll never say the word normal because what's normal? But you know what I mean if I was to say normal. But would it get back in a routine that we were used to, the last several years? I don't think so. I do not think so. Um, Even when it comes down to, the medications or doctors, I would say, when it comes to appointments, they're doing more um, in a visual type setting on a computer. And even with test results and all that, they're doing more of that with video conferencing, if you will. And I don't know, I just find it very interesting. And a little bit about medicines. I'm doing a little bit more research because I don't have 100% of the information. I only have some of it. When it comes down to um, the pandemic, you will have to pay a little bit more because of what has happened. And it's either going to be through the hospital or copays or deductible, or maybe all three. And that's the thing, I don't have all the information, but anytime when there's prices going up or down, I always try to stay in a loop and inform people. So, yeah. So that's enough for my bantering. Without further ado, you guys know what to do. Let's celebrate the wonderful, the lovely, the classic Ruby.
Go down there, wine and go down there, go down there, wine and go down there, go down there, wine and go down there, go down there.
Stay down there, girl. Stay down there.
Girl, you already know I'm down here. I'm prepared. I am always prepared in advance. All right. Especially when it's like midnight at 5 p.m., right? You got to get prepared. I sit down here from time and wait. So,
Okay.
you
Hmm.
how you doing this lovely midnight Saturday, Shar? I don't know, midnight all day. I'm just telling y'all. It's crazy.
My mind has just been I'm not going to say racing, but I've just been trying to put some things together
Mm-hmm.
because it had been, it was really quiet today.
Mm.
And when I was out taking, making my appointments and stuff, it was just quiet. And I got a chance to do some thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I'm trying to cram in a lot of planning in a short amount of time. And I'm like, slow down, girl, slow down. But it's hard to do that because it's not always quiet, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I don't know. Have come up with a few things with the planning, but just some of the simple things as far as my hair. I'm trying to figure out when are you going to do your hair? Because by my hair being longer, it takes more time, and I do mean more time. Last time I did the two-strand twist, I'm like, when am I going to get through with this? I'm like, oh, it's longer. That's why, duh.
Mhm. True. I was thinking about what you said about when are things going to get to normal. The reason why we feel like that is because there's been a never-ending lie. Because I guess they feel like a lie that makes us feel better temporarily is better than a truth that might be a little difficult to swallow at first, but eventually will adjust to, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when, you tell like a 4-year-old, right? Like a 4-year-old's parent passes away. They say, "When is mommy coming home?" And then you tell them soon, right? Or, "Well,
Hmm.
she's on vacation right now," like stuff like that. And it's like you're prolonging the inevitable, right? But it gives the
Yeah.
kid temporary peace so that way they don't tantrum. You don't have to deal with it right now. That's what they've done to us with this situation.
I
Okay,
agree. I
right? And,
agree.
and we've been saying that from the get go. I mean, the science was clear. They let us know that this solution they had is not a solution because you can still contract the virus, you can still spread it. And so, in and of itself, that's not going to be a solution because as long as you can contract it and spread it, then yeah, new variants are going to come up and blah, blah, blah. The fact that you have to take what now at least minimum 3 shots, UK is working on a 4th shot per year, that is not a solution,
Yeah.
right? And so it's going to get back to normal when we either have a solution
Hmm.
or when we just accept that there will never be a solution and the world is going to change indefinitely. But they have to be honest with us about it, right? One
Yes.
way or the other. So we can go through our little, just let us grieve all at once, let the world burn all at once for a week or two. And then, you know what? We'll all adjust. Instead of this burning for a day here, a day there, tantrum here, tantrum there. Like it's getting a little much. And the thing is, they think they're fooling people. Have y'all looked at the news at all? You're about to. We're about to force you to. But have y'all looked at the news at all? People are letting you know they are tired of living in no man's land. Okay. They
Yeah.
would rather live in a post-apocalyptic world at this point than this limbo where you can see the normal world, you just can't quite live in it. Like,
Yeah.
what
And
is
that's what
this?
it is. It's like a limbo. And
Mhm.
um, that is true. We're going to force you to see the news because I have a little bit of everything bad, well, sad news, good news, something to think about, and that's what we
Mhm.
do here on Article Reactions. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to us. We do appreciate it. And,
Mhm.
you could be anywhere celebrating Petty December, but you want to, do it with us. And I appreciate it.
Exactly. Mhm. It's gonna be good. It always is. It always is. And listen, if y'all get to this point where you're like, oh, the heartbreak is just too much. I can't stand it. Just hang in there. Because we always end with the bang. And by bang, I mean Karens. That's right.
That's right.
Lots and lots of Karens. So it's worth it. The pain
All
is
right.
worth it. You will end with some pleasure. It's gonna be good.
That's right.
Mhm.
All right. So I guess I'll fumble and start first
All right.
because it's fumbling because now it doesn't even matter that you have a um, pop-up block or anything else. They're going to play these commercials. Just going to jump out at you, and it's something else. Ain't nothing you can do about it. So that's why I say let me go ahead and start fumbling.
Mhm.
Let me see. Since we're talking about work, I guess I'll talk about work life or home life, which is a little bit of both. You know,
Yeah, that's
it,
true.
it's a little bit of both, and it can be a headache. So this is about migraines. Uh-oh, can I move that
Mm.
thing? Yeah, because some people have them, and they're struggling. They're
Mm-hmm.
struggling, and there's so many different reasons why. So we'll definitely touch on a few. There's 7 ways working from home might be triggering migraines and how to tweak your setup. Okay,
Mm.
I'm scrolling here. Remember being so excited about the perks of working from home? Never having to reference a train schedule or traffic report? Getting dressed only from the waist up? Being able to give your poor cubicle plants more daylight? Conferencing while illuminated by the ring light, not the fluorescent office bulbs? hmm Grabbing a coffee refill without any risk of unsolicited small talk? Well, those days were the days, and now suddenly you really feeling it's a time of the past, because that's what it is. The novelty has worn off. We realize that office life can have its perks and its pitfalls, and yeah, not always rosy, but that's where we are now. And it's two sides of the coin, and we do understand that. But for those that are suffering when it comes down to migraines, they're going to have to make some changes, and that would be you do have more control over your environment. So as far as with the lighting, the sounds and the smells, you weren't able to control that when you were in the office, but now you're able to control that. But what about your partner? They call that negativity. I don't know why, but that's how they have it written in the article here. It could be a negative thing working from home because you have the children going on, you got the partner, hey, I need some attention too, even though you're home and you're working. So, as far as your routine, is you trying to make it routine lists. And they also call this a headache hygiene, which is very interesting. It says lifestyle habits that help minimize the frequency and severity of migraine symptoms is establishing and sticking to regular routines. And those would be your weekly time on the screen, because it's increased, that can trigger the migraines. So that's part of the stress right there. So maybe try to do something different as far as they call it eye exercises. You look at the screen for so long and you look away from the screen for a while. That's supposed to help as far as with the eye fatigue. Also, they have those screen covers. You can also check those out. Um, you can get that, I guess, like at Office Max, Office Depot, places like that. And let's see what else we got here. Let me do some more scrolling. Oh Lord, where I do with the darn thing? Oh, there you go. Okay. And working from your sofa, don't do that. You're just too comfortable. You have to make it a neutral position, because what's going to end up happening
Mm.
is neck pain, and that can also trigger the headache. So get a chair, a table. If you don't have a desk, do something where you have your feet flat on the floor and your shoulders relaxed. So that would help you as well. An
Mm.
adjustable stand. That's an idea. Your blinds. Hey, adjust those bad fellas for you so you don't have so much going on, because the lighting is another trigger when it comes
Mm-hmm.
down to that. And because you're at home, sometimes you think you don't need a break. You do. Take your break. Take your break. Don't take, I know it's easy to say and not do when it comes down to overtime, extra time. You're like, hey, I'm here already. But sometimes that doesn't work for you. You need to manage that overtime. If you're feeling kind of stressed, that's it. That's it. Turn it off, relax, go lay down.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're eating your healthy meals and on a regular basis. Get your exercise, get your sleep, and also notate your headaches. So if they're frequent, you can, notate them, see your doctor, see if there's anything else you can do. and I wanted to share that with the good people. Thank you.
Girl, I was hoping there'd be a solution for me, but any solution that suggests I cannot work from the comfort of my bed or the couch ain't really a solution at all. I gotta keep it all the way 100 with y'all. I mean,
Ah,
I think the common sense is right there,
mm-hmm.
obvious, right? But
Yeah.
then there's Ruby, and yeah, so we're just gonna move on from there. Um,
Okay.
right? Okay. Now, y'all, the first thing I'm gonna address today, okay, is the way that they're dealing with shoplifters. Seriously. And
Mm.
the reason why I'm gonna address this is because I mean, y'all remember when we addressed the grandma, the one who was like basically completely senile, barely even knew where she was, accused of shoplifting, but gave the products back before she ever left the store. And then the cops found her and brutalized her. And then, they're all super excited and proud of themselves. Y'all remember that, right?
Mhm.
Um, things aren't getting better. Let's put it that way. Things are not
Oh.
getting better at all. So we're gonna just cover two stories. I have this first video on like well, 1.5 times. Double time was a little too fast. But I have the first video on double time just so we can listen to a little bit more of it. It's a little bit longer, but I want y'all to hear what has happened to this family and the way the police treated them over shoplifting. And then we're going to hear how they treat the disabled people over shoplifting. I'm being really serious here. This is absolutely insane. Okay.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure I said click the audio, but if I didn't, let me know.
Okay, I will.
Of an innocent family,
I hear it.
9 months pregnant, being shackled to a hospital bed as she goes into labor. And as investigative reporter AJ Legault reveals, it was all over a mix-up involving a stolen snowblower.
How many weeks pregnant are you? 38.
A pregnant young woman locked behind bars, sobbing, in pain, confused.
I don't know what I did, but why I'm here.
And soon will be taken to the hospital in shackles to give birth to her first baby.
It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific.
What University of Minnesota pediatrics professor Rebecca Schlaper calls horrific, civil rights attorney Nick Sweeney labels
it's completely illegal.
What led to this? Even the lawyers involved struggle to explain.
Well, that's a good question.
A Carol Levin investigation.
Mm.
Answer is a twisted tale involving a shoplifter, a snowblower, a police raid, and gunfire. It's a story of cards in an unlikely place. The Maple Grove Menards hardware store. Menards notified Maple Grove police that surveillance footage showed a thief stealing off store shelves and returning the stolen goods for store credit. The store credit then used to help buy a snowblower. The snowblower purchase traced back to this Dayton home. Armed with a search warrant, Maple Grove and Dayton police surround the house, one wearing a body mic, but no cameras.
Please, search warrant, open the door, please. Please, search warrant, open the door.
Inside, Ferris Hussein and wife Sarah, who've asked we not show their faces. Sarah cooking dinner, Ferris wearing headphones playing computer video games.
Open the door. Open the door before I boot it.
Just 27 seconds after first knocking, officers kick in the door.
Please, search warrant. You all right, Matt? I got it. Get down. Get down.
Later, at the Hennepin County Jail, both Sarah and Ferris gave recorded statements.
I was playing games, and then I heard like a smash on the door. That wasn't even like a smash. Boom, boom, boom.
We were so scary. My husband started shouting and told me, call the 911, call the 911.
I grabbed the gun, and I look. There was from the window, I see a guy in civilian clothes. Looks very angry.
Ferris says the only person he saw through the blinds was this guy, Maple Grove detective James Kirky in plain clothes, no police markings. The raid team parked down the street, so there were no police cars in sight.
Basically, I had not even 0.01% suspicion that he's a police officer.
Thinking it was a home invasion, Ferris, using a legally licensed handgun, fired 3 times. Warning shots, he says, towards the ground. One out a window and 2 more through his kicked-in door.
Shot fired,
State Sergeant Greg Burstead fired back. His bullet flew past Ferris, through the home and into a neighbor's house.
Where's that window, Jimmy?
One of Ferris's went through the bottom of Detective Kirky's long coat.
911, what's the emergency?
The panicked couple, still thinking they're being attacked, call 911.
I shot someone. Someone shot at me in my home. Hurry up.
They didn't even know.
Right.
Rush to the scene. Those already there call out.
Ferris, come out of the house with your hands up. This is a stupid search warrant for a snowblower. Come on with your hands up and give us a snowblower and we're good.
Guys, you're police?
Yes.
What's going on?
Well, you're shooting at us. I'm scared.
Because you broke in my house.
No, we have a search warrant like we said. Okay? The snowblower, dude in the garage.
A big misunderstanding. Ferris is no thief, just a guy who bought Menard's store credits from an online marketplace to save a few bucks. Defense attorney Dan Guerrero.
It's crazy. You got the cops coming to a house in plain clothes, pounding on the door, breaking in the door in less than a minute.
But Ferris was arrested and charged with use of deadly force against peace officers. An engineer, he lost his job as the allegations hung over his head for nearly a year and a half. The
Oh
prosecution
my
eventually
goodness.
dismissed the charges in May for lack of proof. He knew it was the police breaking.
Right, because he didn't know, because they didn't say police at all until when they went, who's torturing? That's what they said. Like, it was so fast the way that they said it. But first they're just banging on your door saying, open up, open up. Like, they didn't announce that they were the police, and they gave them 27 seconds to respond.
All that?
All that. So these people think that it's a home invasion, right? He's screaming to Swift, call the police, right? He grabs a gun, he's trying to let off some warning shots to try to
Right.
scare the robbers away, because that's what he thinks is happening. He thinks there's people there to rob them. They had no idea this was the police. Furthermore, this was all over shoplifting
Right.
that they didn't even do.
I mean, you do all that. I'm just still going back to that darn snowblower. I mean,
Right.
you got so many people funneling funds for all kind of stuff. You don't do all that tracing and looking. Oh,
Right.
oh my
Just
goodness.
absolutely
I'm so
asinine. Then when you find out that, oh no, they had coupons, they were completely innocent, and then from the stress and terror of that, this woman goes into labor and has to go through labor and delivery of her child shackled while her husband's in prison for something they didn't even do, and they could have all ended up dead because this is over shoplifting. I just want y'all to think about why they were there. It's not like this was over, or they were wrong, but it was suspected drugs or guns or something terrible. It's over shoplifting a snowblower. What? But y'all, this is worse. I know. I started with the better story. Isn't that insane? I started with the better story of shoplifting. This is how they're treating shoplifters in America. Okay.
Tonight, we're learning more about the now former Tucson police officer seen on video.
At least he got
shooting
fired.
and killing a man in a motorized wheelchair on Monday night.
Tucson police moved to fire Officer Ryan Remington after the incident, but the police union's lawyer says that there's more to the story.
Now, we do want to warn you that the images in this story are very, very difficult to watch.
Team 12's Colleen Secor is live in Tucson. And Colleen, what did the attorney have to say?
Well, they believe that Remington didn't have a choice but to shoot 61-year-old Richard Lee Richards 9 times in the back and side Monday evening, saying the video that Tucson police released doesn't show the full story. Now, again, we do want to warn you, some of the images in this story
I want y'all to just absorb what they said. The cop had no choice but to shoot a paralyzed from the waist down man 9 times in the back. Okay? Paralyzed in a motorized wheelchair. They had no choice but to shoot him 9 times in the back. And you're going to see how that happened. But I just want y'all to process what the police said. Okay.
may be disturbing to some viewers.
I have a male suspect that just shoplifted right in front of me, pulled a knife on me.
In video released by Tucson police, Officer
pulled
Ryan
a knife
Remington
on
is
you.
seen following
Okay,
Richard
we'll
Lee
see.
Richards.
From a DD's discount.
Police say Richards had stolen a toolbox from a Walmart in southwest Tucson, then brandished a knife. Remington, who was off duty working security at Walmart, caught up with
brandishing a
Richards in the
knife.
parking lot, and the two kept going into a Lowe's parking lot across the way.
Not going to the store, sir.
As Richards starts to go into the garden center,
Oh my
police say
goodness.
Remington shoots Richards 9 times in the back and side.
And by that time, tasing was not an option.
Attorney Mike Story, who works for Tucson's police union, says the video doesn't show how long Remington worked to de-escalate the situation with Richards.
Police business is messy at times.
Tucson Police Chief Chris Magn.
No. How long you worked? You followed a man in a motorized wheelchair. You followed a man in a motorized wheelchair. This is you de-escalating the situation. I want y'all to process what they're trying to claim. A paralyzed old man in a wheelchair over a shoplifting accusation. They are claiming he has not a gun, but a knife, while he is literally unable to get out of the motorized wheelchair. Tasing was not an option. Tasing was not an option. Okay.
Across the way.
Tasing's not an
Go
option.
to the store, sir.
As Richard starts to go into the garden center, police say Remington shoots Richards 9 times in the back and side.
9 times.
9 times in a stationary target because he can't get up because he's paralyzed and old in a wheelchair. You could have literally just grabbed the back of the handles of the wheelchair. He wouldn't have been able to go anywhere.
The target is moving away from you.
The target's moving away from you. This is over a shoplifting charge. And even if this old ass man had a knife, why was tasing not an option? I mean, of course, we saw the video. Did you see him? I didn't see a knife. I didn't see anyone reacting like he had a knife. Where was the knife he was brandishing? Did y'all see him brandishing something as he went into the store, not even facing them? He was brandishing a knife that they could see, even though the camera couldn't see it, but they could see the knife he was brandishing. And that is why it was necessary for Buddy, who was further away, to shoot this dude 9 times rather than, you know what's disgusting? And, you know, because they always do the still shot thing. What's disgusting about this is as this man, who obviously is dead now, because he's been shot 9 times, falls out of the wheelchair and lands on his head as he lands on the ground, the other cop, right, as the shots start going off, he now pulls out his gun and just holds it. And he's still holding it, training it on this lifeless body as it goes down to the ground because, you know, the disabled old man who's been shot 9 times is still a risk. It's very scared at this point because he's going to, throw the knife at you? Like, I mean, again, what knife? But let's pretend there was one. This is how they're treating shoplifter. This is a shoplifting. That man got shot 9 times and died over shoplifting. Whether he did it or not, shoplifting. That's shit that 14-year-olds do. And now it's apparently a capital offense. Like, okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
That
was them de-escalating. If that's de-escalation, your training is woefully inadequate. Woefully. This is pathetic.
And yeah. Yeah, I can't. I can't and I won't.
Right. How do you yeah. Right? Like there's nothing to say except I want y'all to understand the 2 stories we just saw and that poor old woman with dementia who had given the stuff back before she ever left the store. Right? This is shoplifting, not murder, not drug peddling, not assault with a deadly weapon. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what's blowing my mind about it is what is the charge? At least if you could say, well, I was told that, you know, this is a really tense situation. It's a drug dealer with a gun and he just killed 2 other people. You know what I mean? Like, this is an old ass man who apparently shoplifted something, but he's confined to a wheelchair. Bro, everyone could do something about that very easily. Like 5-year-olds could stop that wheelchair from moving, but you couldn't as cops. And tasers were not an option, just so we're all clear. Not an option. Okay.
Yeah, I was. It's kind of funny. I was looking at this guy when I left CVS Pharmacy today, and I was looking at this guy just walking around. He works in the building because the building has offices in it, and downstairs is a CVS Pharmacy and a restaurant. So I'm coming out and I just noticed him with his, what is it called? It's a uniform, but it's like the jacket and then just the dress pants. And I saw the radio on his clip, on his hip. And I'm looking, I'm like, wow. I said, if something really go down, this man can't do anything but radio someone.
Mm-hmm.
I've like now just I don't know. I just looked at him, thought of that, and then moved on. But that's interesting. When it comes down to shoplifting in this situation, it wasn't handled, as they say, in house.
Mm-hmm.
This was guns.
Right.
Okay.
You got to call a gun to the situation. And Gold Professor, I understand what you're saying. The reason why I cover these stories is the reason why we should care is because if you think about it, right? If the top of treatment gets lowered, that means the bottom gets lowered too. Right? It's not like we are
Yes.
going to stay stagnant in a position and eventually their treatment's going to match ours. No. If their treatment gets lowered this significantly, ours does too. Right?
Yes.
And so we do have to care when they're just losing their minds now. When they're just losing their minds, they're not even trying to come up with reasonable justification. When every answer, no matter who they're looking at, is shoot them first and ask questions later, that is incredibly dangerous to us. Incredibly. Like it's terrifyingly dangerous to us, which is why we cover these types of things. So we know what's going on, because you know what? If they're getting gunned down for murder, or sorry, for shoplifting, when half the times they didn't even do it, when they're being brutalized for that, dude, don't even try to shoplift a pen. Don't, because they're going to call a gun to the situation. And you know what happens to us when they call a gun?
They thought the gun was, they thought the pen was a gun.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
They saw it. You uttered death threats. They were scared for their lives.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We know how it go. All right. So, the next story here I found interesting. Some stuff I have and I put to the side. When I get to it, I get to it. And there's an update on this, but this is the beginning. This is what I was going to share last week. Chicago police officer charged in fatal shooting of her husband, who is also an officer. I'm like, I found that kind of interesting. Chicago police officer has been charged in a fatal shooting of her husband, who is also an officer. Jacqueline Villasenor, 39, faces one count of involuntary manslaughter, according to officials. Investigators say that she and her husband were arguing at their far northwest side home on the 8500 block of West Winona Street about 7:15 p.m. Tuesday, when they began struggling over a gun. The weapon fired once, killing Villasenora's 44-year-old husband. His name has not been released, pending on an autopsy. And she was due in bond court last Friday. Now, let me tell you about the update, because there is an update. Let me clear this so I don't have to run into this again. All right. Share screen. And I'm wondering, as far as with the argument, why was a gun, brought into play? So that was what I
Right.
was thinking about. Well, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to shoot you. So I just was wondering, how did that come into play?
I feel like women, and you know what? No, I'm not going to be that unfair. I'm going to say I've felt this way. So let's say I've been in situations where, I'm in an argument with a boyfriend and he's hurt me emotionally and he's
Mhm.
also walled me off. And so it's like I can't hurt him as much as he hurt me. I can't make him care that he hurt me. I feel very powerless in the moment. And it's like I want to equal the scales. You know what I mean? I want to get power to force you to listen. You can force me to listen. You can force me to lots of things. And now you're forcing me to feel this way. It's how I felt in the moment, right? And so I would love a great equalizer, right? I can't physically hold you in place and force you to stand here and care, right? I want to
Mhm.
be able to force you to care, right? But if I was holding a gun and it was aimed at you, you probably have to care, even if it was fake, just to save your life, right? So I feel like that comes into play when your emotions, you're hurt, and emotionally you're very irrational in this
Yeah.
moment. You want to equalize the playing field.
Yeah. And I don't, unfortunately, that's not even fair with a deadly weapon. But
Oh no.
let's see what the update is here,
All right.
and let me know if you can hear it when I rewind it back.
Once we get there.
Officer who was shot and killed by his wife is calling for mercy for her mother. Police say Herman Villaseñor and his wife Jacqueline, who was also a Chicago police officer, were arguing at their home on the Northwest Side last month. She had threatened to kill herself with her own gun. In a struggle for the weapon, then it went off and he was shot in the chest. Relatives of Herman Villaseñor went public last month calling for harsh punishment against his wife. But today, the couple's daughter says she completely disagrees.
It was a terrible accident, and it was not on purpose. My family loves each other. We're all very sad, but we would like my mother to stay here and not be on the worst punishment possible.
And her mother is facing one count of involuntary manslaughter, isn't currently free on bond.
Free on bond. I don't get it. That I don't get. I'm sorry. There was a murder. And she's free on bond. And she's an officer. Now, the other part, which I'd learned, with this here, the whole argument, it was because she was going to end her own life. So that means there's some mental things going on. Of course, I wasn't there, so I don't know if she's done this before and was just her last cry for help. I don't know. But with that being said, why not get you some help? Because going to an outpatient therapist for an hour or so, a few hours, a couple of days, and this is going on? No, lady. I don't know who the attorney is and what the family is used to with her, but she needs to be away from people for a while. And she can be let out to go to her court dates and all that kind of stuff. I just don't think this is a good idea to have her out on bond. I really don't. And yeah, I'm going to leave it right there. I wish the daughter was able to say something, but she was careful with her words. And yeah, but I still wonder. I still wonder about it.
Hey, listen, the police murdering your family and you're forgiving them and hugging them and, petitioning for them to get a good sentence. I mean, I don't know what it is, right? But if you're gonna combine police privilege with, white women tears, that's what you get. I mean,
Okay.
really, right? You think about it like this, right? You have the white tears, right? We're talking about white women here. But when they cry, suddenly they're the innocent victim, right? Doesn't matter what they did, they're the innocent victim. And so we should go easy on them, and it's not fair. And even with their sons, boys will be boys until they're 35. They're still boys, right? And you combine that with police can do no wrong. So, but then it gets complicated. It's cop versus cop. I mean, I don't know, but I still think white women's tears always win. They're at the top of the protected pole. So
yeah,
unfortunately, I wish that at some point, we could get close to the top, but yeah. I want to talk about a really strange and I will also say sad story. I'll do it now. So I'm gonna talk about I don't know if y'all heard about the Kevin Tinker uh, shooting. He was shot, and 14-year-old boy. He was shot. And let's actually pull this up here so you can just see who I'm talking about. But yeah, so he was shot, and then his mother, went to the site where they set up kind of like the little vigil and whatever, and 3 days later she was murdered in the exact same place that he was. Yeah, totally crazy. So there were no suspects at all in the shooting. They have no idea why Kevin Tinker was murdered at all. They don't know if her murder is connected to his, although, again, he was murdered in the same spot as his mother 3 days later. 3 days later, in the same spot. Crazy. There were no witnesses, and so they just found her on the sidewalk, basically. And by the time they had gotten her to the hospital, she had already died from her injuries. But now we have some suspects. So I wanted to share the suspects.
Okay.
And the reason why, obviously, is because it would help, if y'all know these people, if you see them around, yeah, you know what? Snitching is the new cool. When it comes to we got to stop with this no snitching stuff, because it is terrifying that a young boy, apparently for just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, this is what they're saying. He was outside of a house during an incident that had happened. And like just an innocent bystander outside of a house. And so they're thinking that it's probably connected to that. But they don't know, right? But if that's the reason, he doesn't get into trouble, he wasn't part of the gangs or drugs or anything like that, and yet he got taken down. Now they think that the two individuals on this video are involved in the shooting or have, knowledge. Okay, it's not these two people who are blanked out. Initially, I thought it was, and I was like, what's the point of blanking out their faces? But no, it's the two guys coming in over here.
Okay.
Okay. So you got suspect number one right here. Now you can't see his face, but the other guy, if y'all notice, he pulled his mask down. See, he should have used that as Corona. Kept your face covered, bro.
Oh, they're gonna find him because these two always gonna run together.
Yep, always. That's how they got the last ones, right? With the liquor store assault. Right? They all just keep running together. So you see them here, and again, there's no video of either shooting, right? And if they have an eyewitness, they're not telling, probably to keep them safe. Here's the car, right? And you've got the license plate here. So I don't know if they're working with the license plate and whatever, right? I don't know about that information. I did try to find it, but I wasn't able to find any information. But those are the suspects, okay? So if you know them, if you see them, call the police, because a 14-year-old boy and his mother are dead. And neither of them were part of crime or whatever. He was a good kid, good student. She was a good mom, just trying to make a way for her kids. And yeah, so you have any information, let them know.
Yeah.
And this was in Chicago, by the way. I don't know if I actually said that out loud, but this was in Chicago. So if you're in the Chicago area, keep an eye out.
Yeah, I had a friend that wasn't far away. But that was some years ago. I used to go in that direction. There was a lot of homeowners, and the neighborhood, of course, started changing, and it always does. Every decade, neighborhoods always change.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this is sad news. So I'll follow up behind you in the sad news area. Let's see here. Let me set everything up. It's sad. It's upsetting. It makes you angry. All the above. This little baby. Okay. Let me got my window open. Okay, here we go. Daycare owners will not get charged after 2-month-old dies on first day at daycare. Family outraged. Family of 2-month-old Jersey McKnight is outraged after a Florida grand jury didn't indict a daycare owner on criminal charges in the infant's death during her first day at Huggers Family Daycare. McKnight's mother, Matresha Robinson, told WCTV she dropped her daughter off in the morning on August 9th at the in-home facility in Perry, Florida, around 3:30 p.m. that same day. Robinson got a call from a frantic parent telling her that something had happened to one of the children at Hugger. My heart stopped, Robinson said. I s- get I'm getting closer and closer to the scene, and there's an ambulance and detectives and police lights. Once she got to the daycare, she was told that her daughter was left unattended on a changing table. The 2-year-old somehow managed to fall off the table and into a mop bucket where she drowned. It's neglect all day, Jonathan McKnight, Jersey father said. The, the Perry Police Department told the news station that McKnight's death is still under investigation. A Taylor County grand jury voted 10-8 not to move forward with criminal charges. I'm still shocked, said the baby's aunt, Katrina Cook, hoping I heard it wrong. Maybe I just heard it wrong. Despite the recommendations that Huggers Family Daycare had twice been found by the state of Florida to be non compliant. 5 weeks before McKnight's death, the facility had just been fined for having 7 children under the age of 3 in their care, which is more than the state allows. While local authorities consider new evidence, leaving open the possibility of charges being filed against the staff and owners of Huggers in the future, the family is now working with an attorney to begin the process of filing a civil suit. I cannot imagine that you drop your child out the first day,
Right.
the first day of the place to go to work or wherever you were going, and this happens. This child, just
Wow.
think about if the mom was pregnant from January through September, had the baby, and only you didn't even make it to the end of the year with your child.
Right.
And there's just nothing that will soothe you. I mean, what can soothe you? Oh, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. Nothing. I
Mm-mm.
had my child. I brought my child here for just a while, and you were supposed to watch my child till I come back. I have no one to pick up now. This is just ridiculous. That is so sad.
Beyond. I, it's unthinkable.
It is. You left a child on the changing table. For
Like,
what?
right.
You could hold the baby. I mean, I don't know, if the baby was messy, but still, just don't change the child until you're available.
Yeah, but
But
like,
this
oh well.
is so sad.
Listen, I have several members of my family that work with children. In fact, my sister just got certified. I didn't even know you could do this. My sister just got her certification to do yoga for children. I didn't know you could do yoga specifically for children, but apparently you can. Um, I've had a lot of like from daycare age up. And one thing is for certain is that when you work with children, you always have at least one, if not two, different changes of clothes with you at work at all times. So in case they spit up on you, throw up on you, get urine on you, something,
Hmm.
you've got a change of clothes. So I don't care how dirty or messy the baby was. Doesn't matter. This is why
Hmm.
you have a change of clothes, right?
Hmm.
Because only idiot children would make that mistake of leaving a baby unattended. It's because they don't know better, right? But if you're an adult This
Right.
is your job. Like the what? Like it's like the first thing you know. Once a baby can roll over, you never leave it unattended anywhere for any reason because it can move now on its own.
Right.
Right? Like, wow. I can't even. I remember once my little cousin. She was under 2 for sure. She might have been under 1, and I remember it was some get together with the family, and so I was like 6 maybe or 7. I think I'm 7 years older than her. And I heard a thud, a light thud in the bedroom, and no one heard it but me. And I'm trying to tell the adults, and they're not listening. So I go into the bedroom and I look, and my little cousin's on the floor, and she's looking up at me. And she had been on the bed, and they put pillows as barriers all around her. And somehow she made it over the pillows and landed on the carpet, right? So then I'm looking at this baby. Initially she looks fine, and then all the adults realize I was right. They come running in, and then she starts screaming and crying. But the point is, she got over the damn pillows,
Right.
right? So I'm like, even that is risky. That's why you get bars. It's a lot harder for them to accidentally get over the bars. That's just common sense 101. You just know.
Wow.
Crazy. It's like putting a baby to sleep on its stomach and then wondering why it's suffocated. Like there's some things you just don't do.
Right.
Okay. Fine. It's not fine at all. It's beyond me.
Yeah.
So, you know what, guys? We're going to talk about Ethan Crumbley. I wasn't going to talk about Ethan Crumbley. I really wasn't. The school shooter in Michigan. Wasn't going to talk about him because that's school shooting number 32 out of the 49 that have happened this year alone. 32 have happened since August 1st or August 31st, whenever your school year starts in America. 32 school shootings. Wasn't going to talk about it. And I think part of the reason why I wasn't going to talk about it is because I think half the reason why they do this stuff is so they can be infamous. However, I have a reason for talking about this beyond just going, oh my God, there was a school shooting. It's so horrific. Isn't it surprising? No, it's not surprising. Like, way too many of these happen every single year for decades now. It's not shocking or surprising. It's horrible. But no one wants to change gun laws or regulations. It's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
So what I want to do first, okay, we're going to just listen to a little story, and then I'm going to just scroll through. Just going to scroll through this page, and it'll explain why it is that I wanted to take a look at this, right? So this is these are the kids inside of the classroom during the lockdown because the shooting's really happening. Okay. And they hear something at the door.
Yeah, bro.
He said bro.
He said bro. Red flag.
Like, it's to the point. They're so well trained, right? They're so well trained that they're looking for signs and clues that they're being fooled, right? Originally, right, the teacher said, yeah, we're more comfortable in here barricaded. I don't know you, dog, and I don't know if you're a real cop or not. Like, that's how worried they were in the moment. They didn't trust anything at all. And so it really was a sheriff, though, and eventually they all went out through the window, but it really was a sheriff that was talking to them. Now,
okay,
I want y'all to listen to the story. This was a 15-year-old kid, okay, was charged as an adult. Finally, one of theirs was charged as an adult. I'm just saying, because we have 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds who accidentally do stuff. Really, like the guy who accidentally murdered his neighbor, right? He was like 12 and she was like 6 or 7, and it was a wrestling move, and it accidentally killed her. And he was charged as an adult. And yet, there's school shooting. People get charged as children all the time. So, okay, cool. But he was finally charged as an adult. But let's listen to the story, because this is an interesting story in the fact that A, he was charged as an adult. There's some accountability there. And B, the parents were charged, which never happens. So,
right.
Okay.
Dots that still need to be officially connected. Where did that dad buy the gun? And how did the 15-year-old suspect get his hands on it? And if the parents did not secure it and the ammunition, they could face some serious charges.
They are.
Difficult. The Oakland County prosecutor using one word to describe her interaction with the parents of the alleged Oxford school shooter, Ethan Crumbley, seen here on social media, handcuffed and in the process of being hauled away Tuesday. According to the sheriff, the 15-year-old used his dad's 9mm semi-automatic handgun he bought on Black Friday to take the lives of 4 students and injure 7 others.
We know that owning a gun means securing it properly and locking it and keeping the ammunition separate and not allowing access to other individuals, particularly minors.
It's not clear how the high school sophomore was able to get his hands on his dad's weapon. Although she didn't elaborate, prosecutor Karen McDonald says her office is considering charges against both James and Jennifer Crumbley, seen here attending Ethan's arraignment.
And we will be making a decision swiftly.
But you can't allow anyone under the age of 18 unsupervised access to your handguns.
To your handguns. We're going to pause the story there. I'm sure y'all have listened to it. It's fine. We're going to pause the story there because I want y'all to see a couple things. And so just remember that they said access to your handguns. They keep saying this whole thing. Well, it's the dad bought a handgun. It was his. And blah, 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 right? Yeah, no, seriously. Right. And like I said, since that was filmed, the parents were charged. They fled. They've been found. They were arrested. They've been held without on really high bail that they can't afford. So they're currently all being held. I would like to say though that they fled and abandoned their 15-year-old child in prison just to protect themselves. So that doesn't tell you something about this family. I don't know what does. But here's my issue. Y'all see an issue with this picture?
It's a little young, ain't it?
Well, right. You would think, but it gets worse, Char. It gets worse. Let's just scroll. So this is a picture now. If it was our kid, okay, start with the mugshot and go downhill from there, right? We find every possible criminal look of this kid. One day he dressed up as a robber for Halloween, and they'd be presenting that as the way he really walks around in life, right? Like this is what they do.
Uh-huh.
Right? Okay, let's see what they did here. Oh, look! Oh, sweet, innocent school shooter. Oh, look, he's just hanging out with the guy.
8 years old. Wow.
Right? He's practically a baby. Oh, look.
Oh, 7 years old. Oh.
Absolutely loves Jesus. And they made sure to say right here, look, Ethan Crumbley had no other run-ins with police, according to the sheriff's department. When do they try? Even when we are victims of violent crimes, when do they ever try to paint us like we are innocent victims of anything? I'm just wondering. Because this kid, very strategically, okay, he was planning this from time. And he put all kinds of stuff on social media to let people know he was problematic and he wanted to gun down everyone at the school. To the point where he had a meeting the day before the shooting and the morning of the shooting with his parents and teachers and administration at the school. Okay, this was not an accidental thing, happened suddenly, no pre-planning or forethought thing. But yet, here's innocent Ethan praying to Jesus because he loves Jesus and because they just watched Rittenhouse get off the same tactic. Now, here's what I remember when I said to y'all, I said, I want y'all to look at that whole thing that said, his parents' guns. Well, this is Ethan Crumbley's account, right? You see that right there?
Uh-huh.
Caption. Okay. Just got my new beauty today. 6 sour 9mm. Ask any questions, I will answer. Let's see. I'm sorry. Just got my new beauty today. Hold on. Wait a minute. He didn't say his dad got a new beauty. He didn't say this is his dad's gun and he's allowed to play with it. I swear, it says it's his. Does it not say that's his gun?
Yeah, that's what it says.
I'm reading it. It seems very clear to me that his parents bought him a gun that he wanted. His new beauty. His. You want to know why He had access to the father's gun. It wasn't the father's gun. It was the kid's gun. The father went, despite having criminal charges for the record, right? But they weren't serious enough and in the same state to flag the quote unquote screening process. So therefore, you know, the father's consistent lack of bad judgment and you know, little crime series he's been on in his life didn't stop him from buying his 15-year-old child, who is clearly feeling murderous and vengeful, a gun, a 9mm, which DeAndre just explained to me, you know, it's not like nothing, not like a little teeny tiny bullet. Just saying, his gun, that's his little baby hand. Right? Okay.
Wow.
So y'all trying to tell me now, this is the aftermath. Look at all these kids, all of these bawling kids, okay? All of the dead children, three dead children, 8 wounded, all of that terror, all of the lifelong trauma and suffering, right? All of that. That has nothing to do with this. This is just a moment in time. Okay? This kid, this is the real kid, right? This innocent angel walked into school. There's no way he shot 11 people. No way at all. This is for real. What they've already started, y'all. They've already started this campaign of bullshit. Okay, I had to share.
Okay.
That. Yeah, this is. If y'all don't think that Rittenhouse set a whole entire thing that they're trying to set a precedence. If you don't think that that's what they did, okay. I'm just saying, look at this image. Okay.
Yep. You're right. You were right.
Like, what is that?
Hashtag Ruby is right.
I'm just saying.
You're right.
All right, y'all don't worry. Y'all might not believe me yet, but y'all will believe me soon. You'll see. You will see.
Little Ethan, come to Jesus, young man. Just come forward. All will be forgiven.
He's a good Christian boy. If anything, maybe the devil made him do it. But it definitely wasn't him. He's a good boy. Look at him.
Right.
He's praying. He's about 8 years old. I thought he was 15. No, he's 8. He's still 8. That's just, I'm telling you, he's 8. Shut up. Like that's what, like,
okay. He never gets older.
Nope. He's Benjamin Button.
I had to show you guys Joel. I know you know who Joel is. So I had to show you who that was. Going to talk about him and his the missing money. I'll just that has been discovered. Word on the street. Let's see. Share. And because we got some audio on the story. So I'm like, let me go and play that so I can give you some time for the the Kens and Karens. All right. Plumber discovers money checks in wall of Joel Olsteen Lakewood Church years after $600,000 burglary. Now, I'm not sure about no 500 envelopes. That's quite a bit of envelopes, but hey, that's what it says. We're going to have to accept the story. That's all I can say. So I'm going to play the, I think I'm going to have a commercial, but after that, I'll play it. Okay. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Where you at? There you go. My bad. Oh, you gonna do that to me? You got a commercial. What can we do?
New details about a sizable theft at Lakewood. You may remember hundreds of thousands of dollars were stolen from a safe at the megachurch.
That was a big headline back in 2014. And now, all these years later, another bombshell. A plumber says that he found the money in a wall while he was doing work at the church. KPRC2's Rochelle Turner live at Lakewood tonight there in Greenway Plaza. Rochelle, this revelation came to light during a morning radio show.
Chris, it happened live on 100.3 The Bull. The radio show was simply asking people, have they ever found anything of value? But they never expected to hear from a man who says he discovered hundreds of envelopes full of checks and cash at Houston's Lakewood Church.
But I mean, it was just like unbelievable, the things he was telling us that they found in the wall.
George Lindsay, co-host of the morning show for the Morning Bullpen at 100.3 The Bull, is talking about this morning's segment.
And we've been talking about things that you found of value, and we have been blown away.
A caller who recently did some plumbing work at Lakewood Church dropped a bombshell.
There was a loose toilet in the wall, and we removed the tile. Well, they removed the tile. Went to go remove the toilet, and I moved some insulation away, and about 500 envelopes fell out of the wall.
Envelopes full of cash and checks.
I went ahead and contacted the maintenance supervisor that was there, and I went ahead and turned it all in.
Lindsay couldn't believe it.
So then he relayed to us that in 2014, there was a big story about money being stolen from Lakewood Church.
In fact, HPD is still investigating that 7-year-old case involving the disappearance of $600,000. It's unclear how much money the plumber discovered, but the case raises a lot of questions.
Don't you want to know what happened? I mean, they stole the money, but they didn't get it out of the wall.
In a statement, Lakewood Church said recently, while repair work was being done at Lakewood Church, an undisclosed amount of cash and checks were found. They notified the police and are assisting them with the investigation. It's still unclear how much money the plumber discovered behind the walls at Lakewood Church, but HPD and the church tell us they will continue their investigation. Reporting live from Southwest Houston, I'm Rochelle.
You don't understand how Jubilee goes and the walls of Jericho and how mysterious the Lord is. The money rained from heaven. It was in the walls. And once you blow the trumpet 7 times, the walls will just crash down and the envelopes and checks will come out flowing like milk and honey. Yes, come to Lakewood Church. We love you. Thank you.
I feel like this is just like the capitalistic version of when they put like that red wax on Mary's in the corner of Mary's eyes and then heat it up and it cries blood and like, oh my God, it's a miracle. It's like the same thing, right? You just steal from yourself and then hide it somewhere. Like, oh my God, it's a miracle. See, I told you guys, prosperity gospel is not just to line my pockets. I swear it's not. It's real. It's a real
It's
deal.
the Lord's work.
Yeah.
Trust me, everybody. Have a seat.
Right?
Pass the
Jesus bless
collection
us all.
plate.
All right, can we have some of that money? No.
Right.
He gave it to me. It's not for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Ain't gonna give you jack.
Right? It wasn't a sharing thing. If your house had money in the walls, I wouldn't expect you to give it to me, except for your tithes and offering. But you owe that to Jesus, not to me. It's not going to me. It's going to Jesus. Sure, it pays my bills, but it's actually going to Jesus. I swear. It's a confusing, but I swear it's different. I swear. Yep.
All right. Well, looking at the time, looks like it is about that time.
Mhm.
And we get a little excited around here. Let me get my little thing going here. There we go. Rub my hands together. 'Cause I know I'm excited. When it comes down to the Kens and Karens. Karen, what? What you say?
The way coronavirus, you are a Karen.
You know what? It's her face. It's her face that she's trying to spit at you. I think we all know that face. And so it feels so good to see it get pushed and then it just goes flying like a dolly on the floor. It's great. It's just
And
like,
then the sound thump.
yeah.
It's perfect. Love it.
Right? Okay. Now I'm going to give y'all a transition, Karen, because this is like when Karening is going too far. And it kind of goes to like what we were talking about earlier, where I was saying that like there's this I would need to try to force you to do something I can't force you to do. So then I'm going to bring a gun to the emotion fight, right?
Yeah.
And so now this is, technically it's newsy, but it really, the reason why it's news is because Karen brought it too far. And that's what it is. And honestly, sad to say, but luckily the only person who ended up affected negatively is Karen. She did this really, and I can't say she did it to herself, but she kind of brought it upon herself. Let's put it that way. Okay. So for those of y'all who are Karens out there who silently hate watch us because we cover y'all every week, I want y'all to understand, right, that like when Dr. Rashad says, for example, that Karens are dangerous, normally Karens don't care about that because it just affects everyone but them, right? But Karening is dangerous. Y'all are too damn entitled, and you think that you can do way too much without any type of consequence. And here is a Karen who had to suffer consequences. So let's take a listen to that before we get into the other ones. And y'all can see the lyrics up here. Not lyrics, words.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Oh, damn, lady, now,
Guns drawn in the front yard. A hit and run leads to a deadly shooting.
A lady is shot. Who shot the lady, sir?
A pregnant librarian shot and killed after police say she pulled out a gun on a motorcyclist that she hit.
The dude on the bike shot her.
Orange City
Yeah,
police
you heard that
say
right.
she was shot in her front yard. But
in case you think you didn't hear that right, you heard that right. After she pulled out a gun on a motorcyclist who she had hit. So she hit the motorcyclist. And then she pulled a gun. And then she ended up dead. So let's hear how this unfolded.
Okay.
But they say she started the whole thing by hitting the motorcyclist with her car on purpose and then driving to her home to go get her gun. Fox 35 Stephanie Buffamonte joins us live from the crash scene with the latest on the investigation. Stephanie.
Yeah, it all started here at Wisconsin Avenue and Volusia Avenue. Police say Sarah Morales hit the motorcycle driver here at this intersection. That's when he followed her down the street and shots were fired.
What's that? Oh, damn, lady, now,
You can hear the chaotic scene unfolding as police say a man shot Sarah Morales multiple times outside of her home on Wisconsin Avenue. Police say Morales intentionally hit the man while he was on his motorcycle and that man and a witness followed Morales to her home. A witness told Morales went inside and came out with a gun pointing it at them. And that's when the motorcyclist who has a concealed weapons permit shot her.
A lady is shot. Who shot the lady, sir? Hey, Fox, come here. The dude that got hit on the bike. The dude on the bike shot her.
In the 911 call, the dispatcher asked the witness to perform CPR.
Is she breathing, sir? Hey, is she breathing? No. Okay, she's still breathing. Yeah, she's still breathing.
Morales later died at the hospital. Her family tells me she was 5 months pregnant. She had an 11-year-old daughter, too. Morales was a librarian at the Pearson Public Library. People who work nearby say it's shocking and sad to know she was carrying a baby.
I believe when it's your time, but Jesus, you don't want to go that way.
And she says road rage is in the area.
Every day, just ride up and down that road, and you can't escape it. It's scary.
Yeah. See, that's the problem, right? So you're experiencing some road rage. Maybe you don't like how slow or fast this guy is driving or whatever it is. Okay. But the dude's on a motorcycle and you decide in all of your privileged entitlement that him aggravating your soul somehow is warranted. You driving your car into his bike. Do you know the damage that can do to the human body? That man getting flung off in some way because you were aggravated, so you intentionally drove into his bike and then drove off and left the scene of an accident.
Mm-hmm.
So a witness who doesn't know either of these people, right? And the motorcyclist decide to follow her to her house to try to get her insurance information. Because again, you can't just do whatever you want without consequence, right? Like now we got to exchange it. I need my bike repaired, whatever, right? I might need some medical bills paid, like. And her response to that, rather than to do the thing you do when you get into accidents, which is to exchange insurance information, is to go into her house and come out with a gun.
Okay.
What, like, what? Now you want to be the victim. Right now you're the victim. Oh my God, these men followed me home. Yeah, but why? They just followed you to your driveway to get insurance information. This is not a reasonable reaction. But see, this is the problem, is that Karens have this like decades-long culture of having literally no accountability or consequence for anything they do, right? Worst case scenario, they cry about it and they get off. They're fine. We saw Victoria's Secret Karen, right? After everything she did, all she did was cry, and they went, "Come on, listen, can you please stop harassing this poor woman?" The poor woman, she chased this woman around multiple times, trying to hurt her.
Right.
So, right. Like, I mean, this is what happened. And I'm not saying that I'm super happy a human life was lost. What I'm saying though is Karens, your entitlement. Y'all need to do something about that. You're so used to it working. So now that y'all are being called out and being held accountable and not getting off with it and whatever, you can't handle it.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not going to always work out in your favor. Buddy had a licensed concealed carry permit. You went and got a gun and pulled it on him. No, they're not going to convict him or charge him with anything. Because he's not the one in the wrong. You're the one who went into your house and got a gun and brought it outside to deal with a traffic dispute that you caused.
And ran away from.
And then ran away from and thought you could just hide from in your privileged life. All right, this next Karen. Here you go. I have no words for. I don't have a description. Just you watch.
Oh, ow, my leg! Please stop! Please don't hurt me no more!
My back!
Please don't hurt me no more! Please don't hurt me! Please don't hurt me, sir! I do want to get up, sir. I want to help up, but you have my hand handcuffed. Yes, sir, I do want to get up, but you have my hand handcuffed. You have hurt my leg. You hurt my leg. You hurt my leg, sir. You hurt my leg, sir. I've hit my leg on the wheelchair, sir.
She's standing just fine.
I've hit my leg on the wheelchair, sir.
Okay, adjusting the stuff, everything.
Look, she's
back up.
Right to adjust herself. Wait, look at that again.
Please stop! Please don't hurt me no more! Please don't hurt me no more!
I can't, sure. Because she so did it intentionally, right? And she put her feet down so she could fall gracefully. The dramatics is just too much. I'm guessing she's in trouble for something, right? She wants out, and this is another tactic that they use, right? So now they're victims, they're super hurt, and the tears come, and the tears are their most powerful weapon of all. They're used to it giving them their way. He tried to help her up, to be fair, and he said, "No, I do want to get up, but you have me handcuffed." Well, that's why he was trying to help you get up. Right? Don't hurt me anymore. My leg is injured. And then she uses her legs 50 times after that to adjust herself. In her comfort. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's like, I feel like they think that they're invisible unless they want to be seen in the moment, right? Like,
yeah,
I want you to see this 10 seconds. And then I'm going to do something. and I want you to just, I'm invisible for the 5 seconds I'm doing this thing, so I can go back to my lie after, right? Like, I don't know. Okay. So up next, we got a Ken. I don't remember the story of this Ken, but let's watch.
Okay.
Well, I'll take it back, okay?
We can take a cart back ourselves. We're literally in the cold parking. Don't touch her. Let go of the cart, bro. Let go of the cart.
You got 2 minutes.
I don't give.
The PD right behind me.
Yeah, we saw them.
You better.
The PD? Okay.
What?
I just called she just said that she'll walk it back. Like, what is your problem? But she just said she's gonna walk it back, so I don't understand why he's putting his
Call
hands
the
on
Winter
her.
PD. We're gonna arrest some people here.
What?
What?
What? Brooklyn, get your phone. You have your phone? Yeah. Go get your phone. Record this so I can call my dad. Brooklyn, grab my phone so I can call my dad, bro.
Huh?
$350. We're not going nowhere, though. Where are we going? We're literally in front of Kohl's right now.
You're not going cold. You're screwing around.
Okay. We're in the Kohl's parking lot, though.
Call 911.
You're screwing around.
Just back up.
Yo, he sounds like a character.
See? Literally, he's pulling the cart from us saying we're stealing. Just watch out.
What's with the Winter PD?
Just watch out. This is crazy. I'm not going in the car.
What?
911 from a cart. Okay.
You got 2 minutes. It's what?
I'm not playing.
She said she's gonna walk it back. What? But what does that have to do with you, bro? Look at this. That was amazing. He's 2 minutes behind me. Wait, what? Where did that even come from? He just brought that up out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere. PD's 2 minutes behind me. Oh. Okay.
I'm the cart cop.
Right? I don't know. Okay. Man, you know what? I wonder if he was a cop at some point, right? Like if he was a cop and now he's a retired cop, but he's used to saying dumb things like that and it being true. You know what I mean? Because he's got the little stupid radio thing, so you don't even have to call the police. You just like touch your little button and say something, and now you know they're gonna send some backup just because you know I'm talking to Black young girls. They're probably a danger to everyone because they're pushing a cart in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, y'all can see the title of this one. Karen throws guy out of Uber on the highway. That's what it says.
Oh boy.
Yep, let's see what happens.
You know, I'm just trying to ask you to go to the speed limit as well.
I'm saying I'm gonna go.
Oh. What? Okay. Okay.
On the highway.
Well, you're gonna have to open that trunk. I'm not going anywhere until you open that trunk.
Get out.
Nope. You're gonna have to get my bag out of your car.
Oh.
I just want my bag, man. That's all I want was my bag. Thank you.
Dang.
Thank you.
Oh, and his mom.
Me too.
Oh, for the record, for those of you who are like, this looks pretty familiar, it's actually a different video. I confirmed. Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing. It's someone different. Can you believe it? Amazing. Okay. I feel like this guy just goes out of his way to like go trigger people, but okay. On the highway. This is a real highway too. Like he didn't mean street. He really meant highway. Like this. Okay.
Dang.
I wonder what the bonus carrot is. I didn't check. I never checked the bonus. Hope they're going to be as great as normal because bonus is always amazing.
That just happened to me.
All right, bonus carrot.
You're in big fucking trouble. She was on the freeway swerving and hitting everybody's car. I got you.
Uh-oh.
Where's she
Hey, no. This girl is driving crazy. Call the cops.
Look
I
at the
got you,
car.
bro. I got you. Don't go nowhere.
Right, where are you going?
She was in the freeway, swerving and everything. She hit 3 fucking cars on the freeway, almost hit mine, and now look it.
Oh, she's guilty.
Oh, very. And drunk or high.
Mm-hmm.
Not sober.
I got a clean record, and I'm a fucking LAPD, so you can't fuck with me, good.
Oh.
Mm.
Wow.
Amazing.
Dang. Running from home car.
Right? Like, you gotta like ask it, where does she think she's going though? Like, that's the question. Where could you, like, it's your car, it's registered to you. You're not, like, there's no way you can go, like, at all, like, because they're just going to show up at your house. You can't run,
or
Karen.
your job or somewhere.
Exactly. But you know what? Since we're dealing, we just saw Karen in cars. Y'all know whenever I see a Karen with one car, I have to do several Karens with cars because they're just so great. So we're gonna close up today with the bonus Karen of this one. It's a Karen with car situation, because anytime you get Karen anywhere near a car, she just can't behave herself. All right.
Don't go nowhere.
No, I'm not going.
I'm calling the cops. I don't care what. You don't take pictures of nobody. That's against the law. That's against the law. You Mexicans are gonna learn your lesson. Keep it up. Keep it up.
What you say
Keep it
about
up.
my paper?
I have a quick question for y'all. What ethnicity do you think she is? Because I feel like
her
she's
accent.
not white.
Right.
She looks Hispanic to me, of some sort.
Now there's a difference. I'm told that between what is it, Puerto Rican and Mexican or something like that. There's a difference. So I guess she's the opposite of.
Oh, so she's not a Mexican. She's Hispanic, but she's not a Mexican. That's actually true, because Dominicans hate Mexicans too. I had a friend who was Dominican. His kid was half Dominican, half white, right? And like, I swear to God, I don't know a lot of Mexican people, like, right? But I've seen, like, pictures and TV shows and stuff. And so anyway, to me, that kid looked like literally like branded as Mexican baby. Like, he just looked so Mexican to me. And I said it, and I didn't know at the time that Dominicans and Mexicans hate each other. Oh my God. He kicked me out of his house. Like, he was like, take it back. And I'm like, why? Like, he does look Mexican. Like, I don't know. I don't really know what Dominican people look like, but this is what Mexican kids look like to me. I get the look. Yeah, he actually he took my purse and threw it out the door. Like, he threw me out of his house. Like, it was not okay. So yeah, you would think that there wouldn't be that big of a deal, but just because they all speak the same language does not mean that they're all in one accord. So that's a good point. I just, like, I don't know. I can't, like, differentiate necessarily, so I don't know. But I just thought it was weird for her to say it. You Mexicans are gonna learn your, but you Hispanic too, girl.
I'm like, dang.
Where do you think you are that they differentiate between Mexicans and other Hispanic people? Like, if they're gonna learn, so are you. Let's put it that way. Okay, you're in America. Okay,
You're a Mexican. You're illegal, and that's against the law.
Oh yeah.
Oh, now
I'm
you're
here
illegal.
at Bank of America. A gentleman here. He's recording me and my kids. I don't know if he's illegal. I don't know if he don't speak English.
You don't even know.
This is against the law, and I'm telling him, Bank of America here in South Norwalk, where the Chase Bank is and the movie theater. And don't go nowhere. Stay right here, sir.
Of course.
Yeah, his plate number is A. Yeah, I just came out. 4. And he's still recording me. I don't know what's wrong with this person, but that's not normal. It's a black ST Nissan.
Where have you been, Karen? It's very normal.
Okay.
My name is Jessica.
Oh.
I am. He's Hispanic, and I don't think he speaks English.
I do.
Oh, you do? Good. So if you spoke English, you would know what you're doing is against the law, sir.
Why you
Yes,
why you
sir.
come into apartment?
Oh, don't speak to. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Just crazy.
Like, how are you so racist? Man, honestly, I find it equally confusing when we do the same thing to black folk that are just not from where we from, black folk. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? You look like an idiot. Like, literally, everything coming, you look like an idiot. Like, okay. Like, this is the most racist garbage against yourself. That's really what it is. Like, man, she needs to adjust. You in America, you don't get to have a separate ethnicity. you black, you white, you Hispanic, you Asian. That's what you get to be here. That's it. That's it. They're not separating. Yeah, they're not separating you from the rest of the Hispanics. You're lucky you got Hispanic, because before you were just grouped as a subpopulation of black, and that was it, right? Like, at least now you kind of have an identity. But I mean, like, seriously. I don't know. He's probably illegal. I don't even know. He doesn't.
Oh, you know English? Oh, well, you should know the law then,
right?
What?
The law that it's illegal to take pictures or record. Where have you been? No one gave you a computer or the internet. There are these things called smartphones, ma'am. It's all the rage now.
Right. It's the thing. It's in.
Right? No, it's illegal for you to then try to sell pictures for profit with a release form. But taking the picture itself or the video, it's not illegal. It never has been. Like, ever. You can always take pictures and video. Always. Good job, Karen. Karen, I'm telling you, Karen and cars, they cannot behave around a car. You put Karen anywhere near a car, and if she had any kind of grip on reality today, she loses it immediately. That's what it is.
It's the fumes. That's what it is. Some gas fumes. Yeah, she sniffs too much. See, she starts the car up in the garage and stay in there a little bit too long.
Girl, I gotta say, when I was a kid, I used to sniff that gas. Man, I loved the smell of gas. I could smell gas all day. And my mom would just look at me like I'm a freak. I just love the smell of gas. And yeah, you get that little high feeling. I didn't know it was called high back then because I was a kid, right? But you just felt better about life. I loved pumping gas. I'm telling you. Like, can I pump the gas? And then my mom figured out like years later why. It's like, cause I could go, it's all those delicious gas fumes. I swear.
Yeah. Well, I do thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your support as always. And we did get a contribution today from Gold Professor. So he has made Sheed sing. So I got to give it to him. Got to give it to him. So Sheed, hit it on the way out, please. Thank you. All right.
Nice, beautiful. Thank you for making sure my weekend goes extra beautiful.
Yes, it's lovely. Now, next Friday, our next stream, we're continuing in Petty December. So do tune in, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you guys be safe, please, until we meet again. And until we meet again, peace.
Cheers, y'all.
Hi, this is Char Willie from the JustAskChar Advice channel on YouTube. Join me every Friday night at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for an open panel discussion. You'll find myself, Classic Ruby, and others giving our honest opinion, giving several examples, and problem solving. If you have an email for advice, you can send it to JustAskChar@gmail.com. Hope to see you soon.